Can't say I treat you with compassion, at least not by the standards here. I say when things are out of fashion, instead of offering a beer. And would you tell me how you're feeling if I talked less and listened more? Can't stand to think I hurt your feelings. You know you're someone I adore. Can't say you never really hurt me. Won't change the way things now appear. I'll keep on offering compassion instead of offering a beer. Welcome back to my show, everybody. Today is August 19th. Once again, to all the August birthdays out there, happy birthday to everyone who celebrated another year on this earth. This go round, happy birthday. And to all that have passed on, safe journeys, happy travels, and happy trails. All of these things are thoughts that are interwoven among one another. We think about it, we just don't know how to properly talk about it. You can tell I'm stumbling around talking about these things myself, but maybe not talking in the right direction all the time. That's what this song Compassion is about. It starts out saying, I don't treat you with compassion, at least not by the standards here. In other words, and I would have to go into volumes and volumes to explain every single thing, but by the standards here, to honor my parents, what they want the most from me is to know that I'm happy, successful, safe, healthy. That's what most parents would want. Not all of us really want with full intention for somebody else, unless it's somebody else who we're nurturing. And in many cases, we can overlook that we're really supposed to be nurturing everybody. This is an all-inclusive thing. If we really want to talk about it, there's no one community of acronyms that's going to satisfy the requirement of what universal and health and care are really about. The first thing to recognizing how to care for one another compassionately is to handle each other like as if we're competent and capable of doing things, but also recognize and sometimes point out when we might need a little course correcting. We all have blind spots. So by the standards here, in our current era, sometimes to point out blind spots can be considered insulting. What would you do if someone walked out of an airplane stall with toilet paper clinging to their shoe as they walked out? Would you point it out? What if it was someone who was sitting right next to you? What if it was someone who was your best friend? Would you point it out? See, it starts to depend on all kinds of things. The nature of the relationship, the nature of the nurturing that we do with one another. And in some cases, I've noticed that we can overlook the fundamental components of nurturing because we don't recognize how to treat one another with compassion. Do we treat one another with compassion based on the egocentric training that we've received from our fathers? How's that working out so far? And would you even tell me how you're feeling if I talk less and listened more? I can't stand to think I hurt your feelings. You know you're someone I adore. That's why I put this comment section in here. Actually, that was built into this system. But that's why I ask that somebody post something in the comment section here. What are you recognizing? Someone recently recognized in another video of mine that there was a lot of trash on the trails. This song could very well have been written by us to Mother Nature. We don't treat you with compassion, at least not by the standards here. Here, the standards are we're supposed to pick up after ourselves. Who's doing that? I continue to pick up after so many other people. It's maddening. We can barely pick up after ourselves because we can't focus on things long enough. We can't focus on things long enough because there's this thought process that goes through our mind. It's defeated. That anxious mindset. We can overcome it, but sometimes we have to step outside. And that can be hard if we haven't acclimated to the new way that things are. The new weather that we are all weathering through together. Can't say you never really hurt me. Won't change the way things now appear. I'll keep on offering compassion instead of offering a beer. In this world, so many of us taught by our fathers continue to offer one another a beer. It's always, hey, have a beer. Want to have a beer? Let's have a beer. And a beer is it's just an idea in place of anything else. Want to have a burger? Want to have a donut? Any bit of entertainment that we can possibly experience that doesn't have anything to do with being compassionate towards the situation might just be a distraction. So even if I stop talking, if I talk less and listened more than I am right now, more than I'm currently 100% open to hearing from our fathers, if I stop talking, do you think that they'll go out of their way to talk with me after that? At this point in time, in this nation, in this state of illness that many of us are at, there is no communication beyond that. It's like it's a trap, and we've spiraled out into this place where we don't quite know how to help one another. How can we possibly help one another if we can't help ourselves? So I'll talk about these things sometimes with a little bit of motivational inspiration for the viewer. Sometimes I'm the viewer. Imagine that. All of us going through the same thing at the same time. The biggest difference is treating our opportunities with compassion. When I received this guitar, it was received in an inoperable state. The reason it was being sold was to raise money for another landfall event that caused financial devastation to an area. I had to fix this guitar up to make it work, even though it was sold as a working item. The persons who had it before may not have known how to fix this guitar. It's pretty fun. I'm probably showing it to you right now in the overhead area, maybe even on the big screen. Whatever the case, if we're not going to treat one another with compassion, it does behoove us to stay out of each other's circles. if all we can offer is a beer or a beer-like experience, an addicted state experience together with one another, maybe it's because we haven't been treating ourselves with compassion. And maybe those kind of things do cause ailments, do cause physical anomalies, in addition to the supposed spiritual realms. And I only say supposed because we know, as above, so below. If we are at war here, it might not be so unnatural to know that demons and angels were arguing or giving each other the cold shoulders. Demons and angels giving each other the cold shoulder. Imagine that. It's not so unimaginable when you really start putting things into perspective and recognize, if we are so special, why aren't we treating ourselves that way? Those are the first things to think about when it comes to the law of attraction or spirituality, or whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of us who, when we get touched with just the right amount of sickness, will lash out unapologetically in many cases. If we can't be found out, what better way to go through life? Never having to apologize for living in the comfortable levels that we're living at, while other people are caged and separated from their families, while the land is dried up, burned down, ravaged, while all that the land gives us is what we're reselling at a profit. Think about it. Even the very items that you're watching this video on all came from nature. That means it came from something that grew or was harvested from nature. Theoretically, those elements were harvested without any kind of a cost. There wasn't anything paid back to nature, I'll tell you that. When we blasted out the resources needed to harvest the minerals required to make all these devices, what did we give back to the land? Did we even give pause and or consideration to that, to the technologies that allowed these medications and treatments to help us along these journeys where we otherwise might not have been able to continue for very much longer? Well, I want to add to that, to today's thought, on yet another beautiful hot summer day that might seem as normal as it could be here in my hometown. I don't know what it's like in your small or big hometown, but here it's very hot. We're looking forward to getting some rain in the not too distant future. Some of us might be praying for certain things, but not asking for reasonable solutions. Your will be done. You know, maybe when we ask the higher power, we need to ask for their will to be done and to recognize we're still able to carry out those things we're trying to carry out. If we're having a lot of difficulty and being slowed down, it might be we were slowed down for the purpose of listening to and or interacting with those people with whom we have come into contact. And if we can't do that, then it might be that we don't feel so great afterwards. So from my perspective, for all of the people who I've potentially driven away with my strong words of encouragement, I apologize for not treating you with compassion as per the standards of today. And at the same time, I want to tell you I am offering compassion. I'm not offering a beer or time to pacify the conversation away. I'm just simplifying the process so that I can have more time to carry out the work that it is that I feel like I'm carrying out. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, all those crazy things that have allowed us to exchange some energy, real passionate energy in these manners that we didn't have before and we may not have again at some point. While the get is getting, let's get to it and make it a successful day. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.